Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, as we all know that Pakistan is an agro economy with agriculture contributing at least 24% into the gross domestic product and employed half of the labor, while a great source of, in fact, the huge source of foreign exchange earnings. Livestock contributing around 62% of the agriculture GDP, while 14% to the national GDP. Along with that, more than 8 million of the rural families are around 40% of their incomes are coming from this sector. When we are talking about fisheries, more than 12,000 farms are there across Pakistan, while at least 50,000 people are employed in this sector. But there are lots of challenges confronting these sectors when we are talking about climatic changes and its aftermath. Along with that, water scarcity, unjustifiable use of water, unfortunately squeezing agriculture land, and along with that there are lots of diseases affiliated with the livestock and fisheries as well, and excessive use of pesticides and all others. They are also contributing into the low yield. Particularly, we are the country which has the huge potential, but unfortunately we are getting very low per acre yield through the agriculture sector, and there are lots of cash crops and staple crops which are contributing into the Pakistan's economy. We are exporting a lot, but unfortunately because of the latest technology, unavailability of that technology, along with that climates induced or smart agriculture presence not there. So that's why we are paying the brunt, and exports are low as the potential is very high. We are having at least this halal food market which is available for Pakistan. Pakistan is contributing a lot to that, but we have to do a lot to contribute more into that. Along with that, there are lots of things which are hanging upon, and they are actually inflicting worst effects upon the agriculture, livestock, fisheries, along with the poultry and all associated sectors. Now, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, which is very vibrant and doing a lot of work in Pakistan, they have just unveiled a very robust project of at least 40 new diverse projects across Pakistan into different geographies, different sort of climates, and what are these projects and how these are going to contribute into the agriculture sector. This is the very important question. Along with that, how robust would be the Pakistan's livestock sector, fisheries sector, and all other associated sectors. We'll talk on that, and to talk on this important subject, we have with us Brigadier Retired Aamer Irshad Malik Sahab. He is the senior analyst. Thank you very much for your presence, sir. We have in our studios Dr. Muhammad Mohsin Kiani Sahab. He is also with us. He is the sector specialist advisor to the Planning Commission on food security, livestock and climate. Along with that, we have Dr. Wasim Ishaq. He is an international relation expert and he is available online. So most welcome to you, Dr. Wasim, as well. Now, first question that is very much important, and that is related to this Food and Agriculture Organization projects which are upcoming. Those projects are just unveiled. And Brigadier Sahab, how do you see this important juncture when Special Investment Facilitation Council and doing a lot in that area, particularly agriculture is the first and the foremost area in which SIFC is working. Along with that, how this FAO initiative will couple that all contribution which SIFC has started?
Thank you, Faisal. We must understand that Pakistan is an agriculture country, and 23% of our GDP is contributed by the agriculture. And at the same time, what we see that Pakistan agriculture was facing lot of problems, very low yield, as well as the diversification of the crops, and high-end technology was not being used in our agriculture, and we were still dependent on the primitive and orthodox system of the cultivation, as well as for the water management also, and other methods, and seeds also. We were not getting the high yield seeds also. But what we see that in the past 6 months or so, there have been 2 initiatives which has been taken by the previous government, and the caretaker government is also now going with those momentum also. The first was the establishment SIFC, as you have already alluded to that, and in that agriculture was the first key area, because they thought that it has a potential of attracting the foreign direct investment to the tune of 50 billion US dollars, which is I think a lot of potential as far as we have the cultivation area is concerned, as far as the food processing is concerned, value addition to our crops, which is actually basically missing link presently. And on the other hand, we see that China, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Bahrain, they have shown interest for the joint ventures with Pakistan Fauji Foundation, subsidiary organization as the FAOR, and they are looking at that Pakistan presently what we see the statistics, only 28% of our cultivated land is being utilized presently for growing crops or other vegetables. And if we get the technological edge and also certain finance available to our farmers and we go for the corporate farming, the agriculture has a potential that they can not only feed Pakistan population, but they have lot of potential for exports to the Gulf as well as for the Central Asian states.
Definitely agriculture is contributing a lot to the Pakistani exports as well, but we have to enhance it to earn more foreign exchange in that regard. What's the basic contribution of FAO and related organizations in Pakistan, particularly to promote the sustainable use of natural resources, research, innovation, adaptation to climate change, particularly when we are talking about agriculture sector?
Thank you, sir. Basically, agriculture is a backbone of Pakistan economy, and the public sector is doing this role. Our private sector is very vibrant and contributing a lot for the development of this agriculture sector. And our development agencies, including these UN agencies, have also a very significant contribution in the development of our agriculture sector. We have in the past 2 decades, we have a lot of areas where our international agencies and UN organizations contributed, particularly the disease control in the animal side is a very area where FAO have contributed in the vaccine development and all other areas. Same like climate change is one of the very significant area where we have a contribution of these international agencies to adopt Pakistan, our public and private sector to the climate smart
When we are
practices.
talking about the climate smart agriculture and related to the livestock, fisheries and all other sectors, how do you perceive that how much we are actually robust in that sector? Because climate smart agriculture means that you are enhancing your yield, you are might be going to be food secure country, and you are contributing into the exports as well, providing more food security to the world also. So do you think that Pakistan is contributing into that area as well, or we have to do more on that?
Although we have very good initiatives in the climate side to improve our agriculture sector towards the climate smart practices, we have the livestock sector which is contributing a very significant in our agriculture sector. And we needed a lot to convert our practices into the climate smart basis, where there are basically 3 areas where we need to focus and invest our public's investment. One is our productivity enhancement in our crop area and also animal side area. When the unit productivity will increase, definitely water consumption will decrease, and our whatever feeding resources we have the limited. So that's the increase the productivity will definitely reduce the emissions, and we can fulfill our requirement, food security requirement from the less number of animals and land. Second, we have to change our practices, particularly in the animal side. 44% of the methane emission come from the enteric fermentation, which is a big source of the methane. So that we need to improve the quality of our forages, and also the practices of feeding need to increase so that this emission will be reduced. And third, we have a manure this conversion into the energy sector. So these are the areas where we have to focus on it. Although we have some initiatives from the private sector, and our federal and provincial institutes are now working, and our planning in the planning commission, we have a special climate change unit there. So the planning is that in the next 5 years plan, which nowadays we are working on this, the planning commission visualize that our agriculture sector should be developed, and all over the public investment and initiatives should be on the climate smart basis.
Yeah, definitely.
So
it is a very important point to highlight. And Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about Pakistan as an agro-economic country, but unfortunately we are importing lots of food crops, and particularly the wheat, sugar and all others from the external world. So how do you see that international organizations, particularly FAO, is going to contribute regarding agriculture productivity, sustainability, and ensure food security in Pakistan?
Thank you, Faisal. Let me highlight and answer this question from more of a strategic perspective. UN Sustainable Development Goals, they are 17, and all revolve around human security. The timeline to meet all those sustainable development goals is 2030, and we are about to usher in 2024. So we are left with 6 to 7 years in completing all those issues which are related to human security. While Human Security Index of Pakistan stands 148th country out of 193 countries. So therefore, struggling human security in Pakistan, this is the bigger picture. Now moving on to the agro production. Pakistan is the best blessed country with a unique mix of irrigation system, canals, link canals, and water reservoirs. We have about 40% of Pakistan's land which is at present being utilized for irrigation. However, the challenges are that unplanned urbanization, deforestation, then using of the forest wood for fire, etc., affecting the climate change. Then above all is the burgeoning population. Pakistan is fast moving from water stress to water scarce country, and its time is around the corner. 2025 is the time when Pakistan would be water stress country. And what is happening on the agriculture side? We are doing a flooding sort of agriculture system where we just flood the area. We utilize, I would say, 1/5 more than what China uses for its agriculture sector. I'm saying the canal waters. So one, that we are hardly utilizing the adequate land. Second, whatever meager water resources we have, we are using it lavishly. So what we now need to do? Yes, we have cash crops. The era of 1970s and 80s and partially 1980s, we were self-sufficient in wheat and rice and sugarcane and everything. But in last few years, we have been importing rather wheat and partly rice and also sugar for our domestic needs. Whereas these cash crops, at the time when we are dollar stressed as well, we are paying for our food needs. And just one item, edible oil, costing $5 billion. So this is the area and this is the gravity of issue where we have to look in. What we need to do? I think we have good examples across the border from China. They have gone for smart irrigation water, smart irrigation technology, elevated agriculture. So we don't have the option of elevated, but we can utilize maximum out of the available land which is flat. However, the Army's initiative, like on the lines of PLA in the past, of green development of Pakistan is a very good initiative and a very timely initiative. What we're going to use
so Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about smart agriculture, how do you categorize that? How smart agriculture will not only increase Pakistan's per acre yield, but also give a robust outlook to have more employment in this sector. Along with that, it will end the hunger and the malnutrition and ensure food security.
This is an all-encompassing process and all-encompassing sort of design, whereby things would be done in different levels. One, ensuring efficient water supply, ensuring recycling use of water for irrigation, and then per acre yield by better crops, by better fertilizers, by better use of water in sort of drip irrigation, and also using smart technology by way of the seasonal crops. These are the things which we have the best practices available from China, and China has been forthcoming, especially coming for phase 2 of the CPAC project, also investing in Pakistan's agriculture part. So these would multi-dimensional outcome would be visualized in terms of Pakistan. For example, we'll be able to conserve our water resources. We will be able to double our agriculture product per acre of the yield. And also that would increase our food security. That would also strengthen our job market, which is more than 40% in this, still in the agriculture. And above all, instead of stagnant 25% in our GDP, it might go to even 40 to 45% in our GDP. So by just making good policies and a timely implementation, I'm sure we will be able to contribute a lot and ensure our food security, which would eventually help us in achieving UN SDGs in coming 6 to 7 years.
Yeah, definitely. Your point well taken. Brigadier Retired Hamid Saab, when we are talking about Special Investment Facilitation Council, it has started its working, and the prime area was agriculture, and they are having a very robust program to not only enhance agriculture production through the existing the agricultural land, but also include lots of other fertile land which is basically arid. So how do you see that initiative as well? And we have the prime example of increasing cotton yield this year as well. So do you think that this SIFC is going to be a catalyst in increasing Pakistan's exports as well and ensuring food security?
Surely, as what we see that in the past 6 months, SIFC has not only given certain statements, but practically they have taken steps. And one of the step is also another collaboration given by the army with the previous government was the Green Pakistan initiative,
yes,
under which they have not only given a scope and scalable progress to the agriculture, and they have announced certain incentives for the farmers, for the corporate farming also, and they have also established a subsidiary of the Fauji Foundation, that is FANGRO, which is actually taking a lead to lead the country toward the corporate farming, and also set a model project within the Pakistan, so that the public private partnership and the private establishment can also take a lead, that this is one of the role model which can be followed. And at the same time, by establishing land information management system,
yeah,
and you said that
it's very robust.
Land,
it's very
yes,
robust. Yes,
that is certain lands which are now being demarcated, being highlighted, which can be made cultivable with certain steps taken by the either government, provincial government also, as well as the federal government. Now we have to here see that the agriculture is basically a now provincial subject, but at the same time food security is a federal. So now there has to be now I think a symmetry as well as interface between the federal as well as the provincial government, so that all the policy framework is implemented in Latin spirit.
Yeah, definitely. And Dr. Mohsin, when we are talking about ensuring food security, it is very important that we have to focus on nutritional value of the crops as well, or we are just focusing upon enhancing productivity.
Thank you. Basically, when we say that the food security is required, it has to ensure the quantity of the our food ingredients, at the same time the quality of the food ingredients, so that we must have a sufficient amount of food for our growing population, particularly when we see in the next 15 to 25 years, up to 2025, when the Pakistan will have 300 million population, you should have the sufficient food. At the same time, when we say the balanced food, so the balanced food means whatever the ingredient you are taking, that should have the nutritively qualified, so that it fulfills the requirement of the body. Because when the person is paying some money for this food, it should pay back to increase fulfill these food nutrition requirements. So over when you see the agriculture and our livestock population in the country, currently in the Pakistan over almost 62% of our agri GDP is coming from the livestock, and with the current resources, with the 220 million livestock animals, Pakistan livestock sector is contributing almost 55 billion liter milk, 5.5 billion kg meat, and almost 24 billion eggs annually to our population. And at the same, the figure is over the staple crops and the vegetable and fruits. So this all needs to enhance on the vertical direction, so that our productivity may increase as per our resources, and that also to qualify the quality of the ingredients, so that the growing population may fulfill the requirements. We have the two segments of our society: pregnant mother and the infant child, which they have the stunted growth and other
Yes, this is the real issue.
The real issue. So if you go over the list of our food ingredients, milk and eggs, these are the two main ingredients which can fulfill the nutrient requirements of these two segments. When the growing infant child, his need of the nutrients.
So in that perspective, particularly when we are talking about the livestock sector, agriculture, livestock, our fisheries, along with poultry as well, do you think that the growth might be some sort of steady or low growth, but there is a growth in these sectors, or we are still lagging behind?
Currently, we are at par. Overgrowth of our the livestock population is at par and as per the requirement. But when we go on, we will see the requirement of next 15 years or maybe 25 years, by 2040 or 2050. I think we have to adopt a transformation path rather than business as usual, because there are some risk areas, particularly the growing population. They have need. They are shifting towards quality food, because when the population is migrating from the rural to the urban areas, and the education and awareness will be increasing, we have to go on to the food safety measures, and also the quality of food should be increased. And so there are some areas where Pakistan is at the risk that if we not adopt a transformation path, we may be shifted from the current exporting country to the importing country. So to adopt a transformation path, Pakistan have to adopt in agriculture and livestock sector some technology transfer. We have to adopt to address some major issues.
You are talking about technology transfer. When we are talking about this technology, particularly the cutting edge technology, so Brigadier Hamid, how do you see that these technologies are very expensive? Pakistan has a very middle income economy or the low middle income economy. So when we are talking about these are luxuries basically. So how do you see that Pakistan can afford all these technologies, or just import it and install it? And how our farmer basically, because larger segment of our farmers are not much to earn, or they have very limited resources, they can't afford these technologies. So whether government is going to support it, or the private sector is going to support it, or investments comes to support it, how?
In this regard, I think SIFC will have a major policy framework to introduce. There should be certain incentives, tax exemptions, custom duties, and import bills should be that way, and that for the foreign direct investment will play, I think, the major role.
Might be some sort of subsidies to the small farmers as well.
Subsidies to small farmers also, but here also I would like that now the next 5-year plan of the Food and Agriculture Organization is the catalyst now, because they will provide that technical expertise to our farmers. They will have discussion with the provincial as well as the federal government, and they will also pave a way that all the knowledge, expertise of the Europe for the better yield, for better crop, for crop diversification, as well as the value added crop, which is basically going to produce more finances for the farmers. Presently, one of the hiccup and one of the problem is that the farmers are not getting the proper or the profitable rate of their crop, which actually acts as an incentive. Now, SFC will provide the policy framework, will provide the policies for the federal as well as the government, will also attract the foreign direct investment in terms of joint ventures or in terms of investment in agriculture. There are two segments in which investment can flow into the Pakistan. One is the corporate farming, are providing certain finance to the farmers in Pakistan, easy loans to the easy interest loans to the farmers, and other is the food processing. Now, what world is moving to is value addition.
Obviously.
And if we have to earn more revenue, and we have to have substantial export potential. I think the value addition, the food processing should be now the priority area for SSC also, as well as by the
Definitely
farmers.
we have to modernize our value chain. That is very important. So, Dr. Saab, one question is very important. Rather than we have to introduce some sort of net farming, because that is might be for 3 months and get rid of the 6 months or 8 months crops or something like that. These cycles must have to be changed. We have to also educate our farmer as well that climate is changing and we have to adapt it accordingly. So, how do you perceive whether any sort of initiative taken by the Planning Commission or the Government of Pakistan related to the net farming?
Basically, the initiative of the SIFC can, and also with the support of these international organizations and the federal government is also have developed recently a 5E framework where the climate change, technology, export and our food, these all areas are the priority areas for the federal government. The strategy that can make a significant difference is basically the collaboration of these international agencies with our private sector. With the corporate farming, we are focusing to the SIFC. What we can do to support and enhance the productivity of the smallholder is that basically through cluster approach. And this model have been adopted in different countries, particularly to uplift our smallholder system and link them to the market, because the resource base of our this corporate farming that will come from the smallholder farmers. So, if the smallholder farmers may be supported through the different rental models to adopt the technology, because they cannot purchase it, but they can use it.
Expensive.
So, the provision of the technology through the rental model and also the capacity building of the smallholders, so that they may improve their productivity,
Is it directly to approach the farmer or it is through the third party?
Through the service providers.
Through the
I think the service providers are also the corporate sector. So, the corporate sector, when they purchase the technologies and provide some rental services.
Is there not be the middleman into that?
Basically the service provider and the smallholder will be directly linked with each other, and the smallholder, when they give the rental services to the smallholder system, definitely they will be profitable. They will adopt the best practices, their capacity will increase, and their immediately market will be these corporate.
They will charge the fee or the profit?
They have the role of the international agencies is very important, and also the public sector is that for some grace period, the international agencies can also deploy their projects, and the federal and provincial governments can also contribute, so that they
contribute as a regulator,
also as well as facilitator, so that the farmers may adopt the good practices. They realize that these practices and these technologies can enable them to make more profitable and generate income. And that the way these smallholder through this cluster approach may organize and link to the market, and this corporate farming can set some role models. So, through the seeing and adopting the technologies from these commercial and corporate investment, smallholder system can adopt it. So, in this way we can expand the horizon of our technology transfer and capacity building, and we can include over millions of the smallholder farmers to make them profitable, and that will be definitely impact over food security at the one end, but at other end we have a big market of international halal.
Definitely. I'm coming to that question as well, because that is the huge market available for Pakistan, more than $200 billion, and Pakistan is contributing but very little in that arena. So, how do you see that Pakistan can cap that market, which is more robust and give Pakistan huge foreign exchange reserves? So, how you categorize it, whether we are enhancing our exports to that end as well?
Basically, in the export market, Pakistan is facing currently two main challenges. First, we have the our cost of production is little bit high to the international competitors, because we are not over exporters or not on the economy of scale.
Ultimately means our product would also be not competitive to the international
and
market.
Secondly, we have some SPS issues, particularly some prevalence of some diseases, transboundary, and some SPS issues that limit us to some export markets, and as compared to India, we are not on the sort of big horizon of the export markets. So, in those two areas, what we can see, for the productivity enhancement, that will definitely lower the cost of production. Okay. And through the cluster approach, definitely the farmers will be able to sell their product to the processor, and processors will have the less money to cater to all the resource from these farmers. So the link between the processors and the farmer through this cluster approach, adoption of good technologies, make our products maybe more compatible in international markets. That will be the quality and compliance aspects, also the cost aspects. The second aspect, which is to the SPS protocol and the control of some disease, here the collaboration of our international agencies for FAOR and other organizations and the federal and provincial governments are very important, because it is the public domain to make the investment on the vaccine production and whatever the international organization, World Organization of Animal Health and other WTO organizations required to fulfill the compliance. So where the federal authorities, provincial, international collaboration is required. So what the net impact of all these things? Net, we have Pakistan as the geographical location very close to China through the CPEC. We have very good access. Middle East and North African countries, over Central Asian countries. These are big area where the demand of Pakistani products is there. So if we have some surplus beside our food security through adopting these good development strategies and technologies, we can increase our export. Currently, we have almost 650 million of the animal products and almost 400 million of our vegetable and fruits aspect. So we
it's
can
around 1 billion.
It's not 1 billion. Okay. But in the next 5 years, the Planning Commission have recently working on the 5-year plan, and we are assuming that through these good technologies and adoption of development plans and collaboration of the international and private sector investment and SIFC contribution will be there, we can increase our export significantly.
Very well elaborated, Dr. Mohsen. And Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about Pakistan's agriculture sector, it is important to address one of the very important key area, as 8 million of the rural population or rural families even, they are earning 40% of their profits through livestock. And with agriculture, half of the country is affiliated with this important sector. So how do you see to enhance the productivity of this sector? It is important to address the sufferings of those women who are working in this sector. Along with that, those laborers who are half of the part of this whole sector. So how do you see the betterment of this important segment of our population who are affiliated with the agriculture sector?
Faisal, actually the agriculture, development, food security and livestock, they all are complementary to each other in my analysis. Obviously. And how we can improve its productivity and improve the human security and food security is that we have, for example, as I highlighted earlier, that about 40% of the land is being utilized presently for the agriculture purpose. So beyond 40%, almost 50 to 55% land is still available to us, which is not being utilized and rather underutilized. So this is the part where we can have a huge potential for livestock sector. And we have an example of best practices of Australia, who is leading in this livestock sector and also in halal meat. So therefore, those areas which are uncultivable are, because of certain reasons, there no agriculture production there. They have put in livestock there.
Dr. Wasim, I am talking about the betterment of vulnerable segment of our society affiliated with the agriculture sector. Those are the women and the laborers who are working basically 24 hours for productivity of the agriculture sector.
Okay, the women lot is because in the poor segments of society, the women work inside the agriculture lands, and where the male has to go and to do some other laborer jobs. What we can do, we have to introduce a smart technology, and the technology can then assist in terms of the farmers where their time of man hours can be reduced and the yield can be increased. The vulnerable segment of society, especially in the areas of rural Sindh and rural Punjab, as well as in Balochistan, where usually the female are there in the fields, but they don't have an advanced technology whereby they can minimize their man hours. So the solution is that we have to go for a smart technology for farming in terms of the agriculture produce, in terms of the smart drip irrigation water system, and also good quality seeds and fertilizers. So thereby, where they spend now say 17 to 20 hours in the fields, it might be reduced by at least half, and the produce would be at least doubled. So that is how it will ensure the food security and reduce the vulnerability of the women which are working into those rural areas.
Yeah, definitely. Brigadier Retired Hamid, you intend to say something on that?
I think when we talk of these vulnerable segments of our society, which are basically for the livestock and for the agriculture, the best initiative has been taken by the Green Pakistan. Because in Green Pakistan, agriculture and livestock were the two subsects in which they wanted that the progress should be made. And also when we see the Food and Agriculture Organization's next 5-year plan also, they are targeting the youth and they are targeting the women also. Because what they want to achieve from this, that the technical know-how of these two cross section of our society should increase. They should go for the better animal health also and in artificial insemination also.
So how basically the question arises that how Pakistan's agriculture productivity, it is important that we have a huge youth bulge in Pakistan, and how we can utilize and make this agriculture sector more lucrative for our educated youth to be involved in this agriculture productivity, livestock, poultry, fisheries and all that. So how do you see that aspect?
If we see the blueprint of the country programming framework which has been given by the FAO, it clearly highlights that they want to attract the educated youth, because they know Pakistan has a youth bulge, and presently also about 49% of our population is actually employed in the agriculture and livestock. And now when they will attract the educated people and they will provide them the technical know-how that how to get high yield. Presently our yield is about 2 metric tons per hectare, whereas world is getting 4, double of it. And also when we see the wheat, we are getting 3.5 metric tons, whereas in the France they are getting 8. That means that we are very low in yield, and there are 2-3 problems as far as yield is concerned. One is our cultivation system as such is very primitive and old. We are not using the high end technology. Then the seed also, that we are not getting the high yield seed also. So when the technical know-how, the research will come in. Presently Pakistan has about 40 or 50 institution as far as research and agriculture is concerned, but still we are lagging behind as well as the high yield is concerned. We are also lagging behind, as well as you also said that we are getting 2 crops, Kharif and Rabi.
Yes, yes.
That is 8 months for 6 months for one and 6 months for one. And world is moving to 3 to 4 crops in a year.
Obviously we have to change the cycle. And Dr. Mohsin, do you not think that agriculture, academia, industry and public sector, the government sector, they have to join hands with each other along with our farmer, so that this cycle will, this cycle will complete, and there would be more collaboration in between, more connection in between, more cooperation in between, then we are going to be robust in our exports regarding agriculture sector?
I think it's need of time, because we have to move over indigenous solutions, and that will come when we have the collaboration between the academia, industry and our public institutes, also the farming community and the processing segment. So that is all should collaborate, and everyone should play its role. But some demand driven R&D can be conducted in our academia and R&D institutes. Our public sector and international agencies, FAO and other global agencies, they can contribute a lot by in the technical assistance aspects, and also some where they can possible support to the financial aspects as well. And our farmers and our processors and our private sector is, I think, very vibrant in our agriculture and livestock sector. They can be a partner in our some demand driven research and technology adoption. You have recently asked the question that how our youth and the educated people can be enter in this agriculture sector. I think there are a few areas where there the room to enter for these people, particularly the digital technologies. The big area. Our trading system, the conventional trading system, is not sufficient.
Dr. Mohsin, thank you very much, because we have run short of time. So thank you very much for your presence in studios. Brigadier Hamid, thank you very much for your presence, and thank you very much, Dr. Wasim, for your presence online. Viewers, we all know that how much agriculture is very important for, particularly for the Pakistan, a country which is based upon agroeconomy. It is important that we have to enhance our productivity into the agriculture sector. We have to, lots of potential we have in livestock, poultry and fisheries as well. International organizations intend to do a lot for a country which has a vibrant future, which has a youth bulge available. We have a lot more things available, but we have to adapt to the technologies, the latest technologies into the agriculture sector. Along with that, adapt the climatic changes which are happening. We have to go along with that, and that will not only enhance the productivity per acre yield from the agriculture farms, but also enhance our livestock, fisheries and poultry outcome as well. The productivity will increase. Ultimately, we are going to cap the halal market which is available internationally. So this is the whole gambit of our today's foresight. Along with that, you know that food security, when we are talking about food security, it is important that one of the area, one of the region which is right now is totally food insecure, and that is basically the Middle East, where the Gazan people are actually suffering because of the lack of water, lack of food, medicine, even the hospital facilities, and now even the ambulances. So this is just because of an occupying nation targeting the innocent Palestinians, particularly in Gaza. And just recently we have good news that due to the Qatar's trying efforts, Egypt and United States facilitation, now a humanitarian truce, a humanitarian pause is there, and that is going to be announced within 24 hours, and soon it would be. And according to that agreement which was done between an occupied nation, that is Israel, and the freedom fighters of Hamas, now this humanitarian pause is going to be announced for the next 4 days, and having the contours that it might be enhanced for another week or so. But right now that is needed, and that humanitarian pause will help to not only to open the cross borders for particularly for the humanitarian aid to the Gazan people, along with that the medical aid and all that. And the most important thing is that they would have a sigh of relief after 1.5 months of brutal bombing and atrocities by the occupied nation of Israel. So this is all about the latest updates about the Palestinian territory, and this is all today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz Nasir.